It started on a night when the wind whispered secrets and the darkness felt alive. A low, persistent tapping echoed from deep within the walls of a creaking farmhouse in Middle Tennessee, a sound so subtle yet unnervingly deliberate that it stirred an inexplicable dread in anyone who heard it. In the distance, a single lantern swayed in the cold autumn breeze, its feeble light barely holding back the surrounding shadows. No one could say what exactly was knocking, or why it chose that moment to announce its presence, but in that moment, the Bell family's lives were forever changed. In the early 1800s, John Bell and his gentle wife Lucy had built a modest, hard-working life on the outskirts of Robertson County. Their farmhouse, tucked against a dense wood of towering oaks and whispering pines, was meant to be a sanctuary, a place of solace after a long day's toil. But as the leaves turned a deep, unsettling shade of red and the chill in the air hinted at something amiss, the Bell family began to notice that the peaceful rhythm of their home was interrupted by mysterious sounds and unexplained happenings. At first, it was just a faint knock late at night, barely louder than the rustling of dry leaves. John Bell, a practical man of faith, assumed it was nothing more than the creaks of an old house settling into its foundations. Yet as nights passed, the knocks grew more insistent, as if someone, or something, was tapping a secret message onto the walls. One fateful evening, as John sat by the glow of a single candle in his study, the knock came again. Expecting perhaps a wandering traveler seeking shelter, he rose and slowly opened the door. Outside, the darkness was impenetrable, the wind carrying nothing but the sound of his own racing heartbeat. Yet as he closed the door, a hushed, mournful whisper floated through the air, a voice that seemed to murmur, "I am here." The following days were marked by an unsettling shift. The children awoke to find their beds disheveled and their small toys inexplicably rearranged. Betsy, the youngest of the Bell children, insisted that she saw a figure, a woman in a tattered, green dress, standing silently at the foot of her bed. Her wide eyes, filled with terror and confusion, spoke volumes even though her words were few. The household soon became a theater of inexplicable phenomena. Furniture moved of its own accord, doors creaked open when no one was there, and soft, almost sorrowful voices filled the night air with cryptic phrases. John Bell, determined to unravel the mystery, began keeping a detailed journal. Each night he recorded the strange sounds and eerie sensations, times when the air grew icy cold, when his breath became visible in the candlelight, and when Lucy swore she felt a cold hand brush her shoulder as she slept. His pen scrawled out accounts of nights when the farmhouse seemed to be haunted by an unseen presence that lingered just at the edge of vision, an entity that was both mournful and malicious. As weeks turned into months, the disturbances grew bolder. One stormy evening, while the family sat down for dinner, the lights flickered violently. The table trembled beneath the weight of an unseen force, and a deep, resonant voice boomed from the walls, "You will not live in peace." The children cried out in fright, and even the stoic John Bell felt his resolve falter. Lucy clutched her handkerchief as if it were a talisman, while the family huddled together in a desperate bid for comfort. That night, sleep was elusive as every creak and whisper amplified the terror that gripped the house. Word of the strange happenings spread quickly through the tight-knit community. Neighbors and travelers alike spoke in hushed tones about the Bell homestead, recalling their own inexplicable encounters, a glimpse of a pale figure in the woods, the sound of chains dragging across the earth, and even inexplicable, unseasonable cold that seemed to seep into the very soul of the place. One elderly farmer recalled hearing what sounded like the heavy, deliberate tread of footsteps long after the family had gone to bed. His account, tinged with both disbelief and lingering fear, added yet another thread to the growing tapestry of local lore. Curiosity soon drew visitors to the Bell farmhouse. People traveled from distant towns, driven by both fascination and dread, hoping to witness the phenomenon firsthand. Some came armed with early cameras and notebooks, eager to document what they believed was proof of the supernatural. Local newspapers, sensing a story that could captivate their readers, began publishing accounts of the events, stories that blended fact, folklore, and the whispered exaggerations of frightened witnesses. Though some details grew more elaborate with each retelling, the core of the tale remained. a relentless, unseen force that tormented a family night after night. Among those drawn to the legend was a weary traveler seeking shelter on a particularly stormy night. He remembered the haunting lullaby that drifted on the wind, a slow, sorrowful tune that seemed to beckon him toward the darkness. In the early hours of dawn, as the rain tapered off and the moon cast eerie shadows across the landscape, he caught sight of a figure standing at the edge of the property. The figure, draped in a long, ghostly gown, seemed to watch him with eyes that burned with an unspoken sorrow. Overwhelmed by both awe and terror, he fled the homestead, his story adding another layer of mystery to the Bell Witch legend. Despite the terror that pervaded their home, the Bells tried to carry on with the routines of daily life. John Bell, ever pragmatic, sought the help of local ministers and wise elders. One respected clergyman even visited the farmhouse, offering a blessing in an effort to drive away the malevolent presence. As he recited prayers and sprinkled holy water throughout the rooms, a sudden chill swept over the house, and Lucy later recalled feeling as though an unseen force had burst into bitter laughter. Even after this solemn attempt, the haunting persisted, a clear sign, John believed, that the spirit was not so easily exorcised. Time, however, has a way of softening even the most relentless terrors. Gradually, the intensity of the disturbances began to wane, as if the spirit had grown tired or had found a temporary measure of satisfaction in its mischief. Yet the legacy of those haunted nights remained etched in the memories of the Bell family. When the time finally came for them to leave their ancestral home, forced by both fear and the strain of living with the unknown, the spirit's presence had already woven itself into the fabric of local lore. Decades have passed since that fateful era, but the Bell Witch continues to be a source of both fascination and terror in Middle Tennessee. Descendants of the Bell family still speak of those dark times with a mix of fear, sorrow, and awe. At family gatherings, elders recount the ghostly knockings, the inexplicable cold spots, and the soft, eerie whispers that once filled the house. These accounts, passed down through generations, serve as a reminder that some legends never truly fade away. In modern times, the Bell Witch has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even films. Visitors to the region often make pilgrimages to the site of the old Bell homestead, hoping to catch a whisper of that long-ago terror. The nearby Bell Witch Cave, steeped in its own eerie lore, has become a destination for paranormal enthusiasts and curious travelers. On quiet, moonlit nights, locals say that if you stand in the shadow of the old house, you might just hear the soft, rhythmic tapping on the walls, a haunting echo of a time when the Bell family was besieged by an unseen force. Even as skeptics challenge the veracity of the events, arguing that the accounts were a blend of folklore, misinterpretation, and deliberate embellishment, the Bell Witch remains a powerful symbol of the unknown. For many in the region, the legend is not just a ghost story, it is a part of their heritage, a piece of history that continues to shape their understanding of the world. It reminds them that no matter how far we progress in science and reason, there will always be mysteries that defy explanation, forces that lurk in the shadows, waiting to remind us that the line between myth and reality is sometimes frighteningly thin. As night falls over the Tennessee hills and the wind picks up again, carrying with it the echoes of long-forgotten voices, one cannot help but wonder, is the Bell Witch still there, watching from the darkness, waiting for another chance to make her presence known? For those brave enough to listen, the whispers of the past offer both a chill and a thrill, a timeless invitation to step beyond the ordinary and into a world where every creak of the floorboards, every flutter of a curtain, might just be the Bell Witch saying, "I am here." In the end, the Bell Witch is more than just a collection of eerie incidents, it is a testament to the enduring power of folklore and the human need to find meaning in the inexplicable. Whether you believe that the spirit was real or merely a fabrication of a bygone era, the legend of the Bell Witch challenges us to confront our deepest fears and to question what lies beyond the veil of the everyday. And so, as you settle in on a dark, stormy night, perhaps you'll remember the bells and the restless spirit that haunted their home, and you might even wonder if, somewhere in the quiet of the Tennessee night, a soft knock on the wall might be calling your name.